Hitchcock has always been a huge proponent of the dinner scene in his films, and food in general. In fact, his very own father was a greengrocer. Hitchcock uses the act of eating as not only action but also metaphor, and to tell us more about the characters that eat. Rope, directed by Alfred Hitchcock and released in 1948, tells the story of Brandon, played by John Dahl, and Philip, played by Farley Granger, two men who kill their friend and hide his body in a trunk, thinking they have committed the perfect murder. They host a dinner party with the victim's relatives in attendance, all of them completely oblivious to the fact that David's corpse is stored in the chest right next to them. Only after slowly revealing their murder to Rupert, played by James Stewart, are they discovered. Frenzy, also directed by Alfred Hitchcock, was released in 1972. The film, set in Covent Garden in London, is one of many Hitchcock wrong man films. RAF veteran Richard Blaney, played by John Finch, is wrongly accused of being the necktie murderer, a serial killer who kills women by strangling them with neckties. His friend Bob Rusk, played by Barry Foster, turns out to be the real killer. Discovered after Detective Oxford, played by Alec McCowan, breaks into his flat. In The Art of Alfred Hitchcock, Spotto writes, "For Hitchcock there was always an ambivalence, a conflict about food and eating, and in Frenzy, food becomes at last the main character." I'll be comparing how food relates to murder in both Rope and Frenzy, as well as the metaphor they provide in both films. In Rope, we learn more about Brandon and Philip's ethics of murder when Brandon mentions Philip's strangling of a chicken as a child.
Across the valley, the church bells were ringing, and in the yard, Philip was doing likewise to the necks of 2 or 3 chickens.
Oh, dear.
It was a task he usually performed very competently, but on this particular morning, his touch was perhaps a trifle too delicate, because one of the subjects for our dinner table suddenly rebelled. Like Lazarus, he rose.
That's a lie.
Philip.
This story, told right before the characters in the film eat chicken off the chest which contains David's corpse, connects not only the corpse with the chicken, but also the method of murder, strangulation. Eating and murder are connected several times, not only through action, but also dialogue.
You had any difficulty in getting into our Velvet Rope restaurant?
Frightful.
A very simple matter. A flick of the knife, madame. And if you'll kindly step this way, oh no, step over the head waiter's body. Thank you. And here's your table.
Rupert, you're the end.
There's a hotel clerk I could cheerfully flick a knife at.
Oh no. Choke the life out of him? Is that what you thought when you served food from his grave?
The reason that Brandon and Philip killed
somehow
him
I
isn't
don't.
just for the thrill of
Well, she can switch back to
perfect
Kenner
murder.
tonight.
They
You
also
must
see
admit, it
themselves
was
as
most
superior
considerate
to
of me in
David,
view of
something taught
recent
to them by
events to
Rupert
provide.
Cadell in their college years.
But you've given my words a meaning that I never dreamed of. And you've tried to twist them into a cold, logical excuse for your ugly murder.
Rope's close proximity to World War II and the rise of Nazism makes this point extremely obvious what it's connected to. Brandon and Philip see David as inferior and, as such, liken him to food, something to be devoured by them, the superior beings. Food in Rope becomes a metaphor for the undesirables, and the eaters are likened to the Übermensch, the superior beings in a fascist society. Food and eating becomes the vehicle for Rope's fascism allegory. Food is everywhere in Frenzy. The film is set in Covent Garden, a marketplace filled with food and commerce. Food is constantly mentioned, eaten, and displayed in Frenzy. The necktie murderer himself, Bob Rusk, is a grocer. This gives us insight into the food metaphor of Frenzy. Rusk sees the woman he rapes and murders the same way he sees food.
You know, in my trade, we have a saying. We put it on the fruit. Don't squeeze the goods till they're yours.
A commodity, meant to be used and then thrown away. Frenzy's food metaphor relates to commercialism and capitalism, likening human beings to objects for Rusk to consume and then discard of. The setting, plot, and dialogue all work in favor of this metaphor. In conclusion, both Rope and Frenzy use food as metaphor for humans, and eating as the acts that these ideologies enact upon what they see as lesser beings. Rope's eating metaphor is an allegory for fascism, and Frenzy's is an allegory for capitalism.